Hey guys, Delta 6. Thank you guys for joining us on another video. So in this video, guys, it's gonna be about, I don't want to say a pissing match, but it might lead to that when it comes to private security and my local law enforcement at least where we do some jobs at. Um, so as you guys know, we did a couple videos on doing some parades and protecting some people on a specific crew on that parade. And it's not a secret, security has been around on Gasparilla and other places during parades, storefronts. So it's not a new thing at all. But we've been doing these parades for almost, well, since last year. So I would say about a year now. So it's nothing new to anybody. We've always had, good feedback from Tampa Police as well as Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department whenever they are on those parades, blocking off streets and everything like that. So on this past parade for Christmas, we were doing the parade, doing our jobs, looking for threats. If y'all guys haven't seen that video, go check that video out. And it's very irritating when a TPD officer decides to come up to my partner and ask him if he's security, and then he tells him yes, the parade is moving, the float's moving, we got to move with it. And then he looks at his firearm and he goes, "You're armed?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, are you dumb? It's right here. You know what I mean? Like, what's your problem, dude? And we just ignored it and continued doing the parade and continue walking. Finish up the parade, everybody offloads. We make sure all the disabled children get off safely, make sure there's no traffic or anybody that could be a potential threat. We make sure that we keep things clear of all those issues that could arise. So we continue on, back towards the vehicle where we parked at. And this is in downtown Tampa area. And we've seen some latrines or porta potties, there by the parking lot. So, I go in first to go use the bathroom, and there's a TPD officer in the next one over. And all of a sudden I hear over his radio really loud, "Hey, did you guys catch up to those two armed security personnel? We see them here on the corner of this street and this street." And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, I know we're the only security there on this parade. So, I get out, I tell my partner, he goes in, uses the restroom, and then we make a quick call when we get back to the truck to one of our ex-law enforcement guys who also does our training. And he's like, "Honestly, bro," he's like, "if you're still there, just go talk to him." So we go to this patrol vehicle. He's just blocking the street so that they can do their cleanup and whatever. And, he rolls down his window when we get up to the truck and we start talking to this guy. And, I'm like, "Hey, listen, I wanted to come over here and touch base with you because I heard over the radio that you guys are looking for us. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what the problem is, what's going on." And he said that, he goes, "There's been a lot of talk about you guys. Everybody's seen you guys on the parades. And, we wanted to let you know that it's not our preference that you guys are here." And I told him, I said, "Well, your preference is none of my concern." And then he proceeds to say, "Well, it's our policy that we lock the parades down, we protect the parades, blah, blah, blah." I says, "Well, once again, I'm not a Tampa Police Department officer, so your policies don't affect me either." I said, "Is there a law or something that is stopping us from being here?" And he goes, "No, there's nothing like that. There's no law or anything like that." I said, well, until there's a law, I mean, I'm going to continue seeing you on these parades, and you need to let your guys know to stop stopping my guy or any of us when we're on these parades doing our job, because now your guy's not doing his job and my guy's not doing my job. You know what I mean? And you're holding everything up. So, the officer's like, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. And I said, I'm not arguing with you either, buddy. But listen, man, what you're saying is that Tampa Police Department is more worried about their optics, because there was news cameras there, and they're more worried about their optics of, oh, maybe TPD doesn't have things locked down, so they have private security as well. Is it really that unsafe? Or I don't know what it is or what their problem is with private security protecting individual crews or floats or whatever you want to call it. And this in particular float, we have some high profile people on these floats, not to mention disabled children. And most people might find this surprising, but in this world, there is a lot of people that think disabled children or deformed children are an abomination, that they should be exterminated. And if you do any research, you guys can find this out. Some of these families have to hire 24/7 private armed security just to be at their homes and when they go to the grocery stores and doctor's appointments. So it's a real thing. It's a hate crime to disabled children or disabled people in general. There's a lot of sick people out there, and we're doing our job, and TPD is more concerned about their optics or their overtime or whatever the case may be, which makes no sense to me. So basically what he's saying is that they're going to be talking to people on these parades and trying to get private security kicked out of these parades permanently. And if they do that, guys, I'm telling you, I plan on fighting not just for my company or my guys or money that comes into the business, but I plan on fighting for all security, because they're crossing a line at that point. And as I explained this to the officer, he goes, well, the other issue is that on the back of your shirts it says officer. I says, well, do you want to see my state ID that was issued from the state of Florida that says officer on it? I says, it doesn't say police, it doesn't say federal agent, it doesn't say anything besides officer, and that's exactly what we are. He goes, well, you're security guards. I said, no, there's a difference, buddy. There's a difference. And security guards, they're working without licensing. Security officers go through that process, get the license from the Florida Department of Agriculture. They go through the training. We go every year for retraining. So my license covers the entire state of Florida. Your license covers the city where you're sworn into. I says, do you see the problem here? I says, if y'all guys have an issue with this, you can take it up with the state of Florida. And you can take it up with the lawmakers or Supreme Court or whoever you want to go through. And he's like, well, there ain't going to be none of that. I said, well, then I guess we'll see you on the next parade. And it's about to get more busy with parades. Gasparillo's coming up and so forth. So, we're going to be seeing you guys. And we left it at that. But for law enforcement or any higher ups in law enforcement, the brass or whatever you want to call them, if they're more concerned about armed private security companies, then they have an issue. Because you're saying that you would rather have less armed personnel protecting the people of the city that you're supposed to protect because of the way it looks, because of optics, or whatever the reasoning is. You haven't really realized that maybe in an event where there's an active shooting situation, look at the news, guys. The Boston bombing, the parade that was shot up in another state. There's been multiple incidences where large crowds attract stupid people like that. The concert where the guy was shooting out of a hotel window across the way and killing innocent people. And these officers want less armed security. They don't want us there. They want to handle the whole situation themselves. And I get where, okay, well, if that situation happens, y'all guys don't have the same radio we do. You don't know what's going on. Well, that's not my concern. My concern is if a threat is nearby me, I'm going to take care of it if you guys aren't around. But my concern is also mainly to protect the people that we're hired to protect. That is what we're there to do. We're not there to interfere with your issues or whatever's going on out there. If there's an active shooter situation, obviously we're not going to go after the guy unless he's in the crowd next to us. We're not going to go chase a sniper down or someone else. But it's just, I guess it's ignorant and naive to really, for some officers, and I'm not talking about all of them, guys, trust me on this, but for some officers to believe that private security has no right to be there. Like I said, we've had great run-ins with TPD and Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. We've, talked to a lot of them. A lot of them are glad that we're there. But there's always those few guys that want to try and destroy something that's better, something that's good. And I don't know exactly what the reasoning is. I've tried to figure it out. I've tried to think about it and put myself in their shoes. But it just blows my mind. It really does. How they would pit the safety of the city and the people in it over, having less armed personnel. It just really doesn't make sense to me, guys. But I'm very curious to find out what's going on, and if this goes anywhere, guys, if we get a letter, we get a call, whatever the case is, if we get any information more on this, like I said, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. But there's gonna be a fight on their hands legally, because legally we're hired to do a job. We're legally able to carry. We're licensed to carry in the entire state of Florida. So, I really don't understand what their issue is. It's ignorant to me. And hopefully this will lead, if they do pursue this will lead to not just a big fight, but a big change. Because like I said, guys, if you look in the northern states, they have special police, which is private security companies that have been sworn in, that went through some kind of training at their local police departments and so forth. Went through some classes for law, as far as your basic run-ins with people and charges, etc. They're there to help back up law enforcement, especially in places where it's all huge and spread out, like St. Pete and Tampa. There's not enough officers sometimes for backup. Sometimes backup doesn't show up for 10 minutes. And having private security that has extra training that those agencies would pay for through the local police departments, so the police departments would profit on this, and then they would swear in those specific guys to that one specific agency that they work for, or multiple agencies. Could you imagine how much more protection, that not just on parades or anything else, but as far as just normal everyday, I don't know how many times I see people taking red lights or, doing stupid things in a vehicle that's, they're doing drugs while driving, or, I'm at a gas station filling up and I see domestic violence happening right in front of a store, and a chick almost running over her boyfriend because the car door's open. She put it in reverse when he was standing there, and he gets knocked down. You know what I mean? All those things are crimes that I can't do nothing about, because technically I can only work on private property or wherever I'm allowed to work by a person that I'm hired to protect. So imagine how much more bad we can get off the streets, or how much more we can help them out, or, God forbid an officer needed help from around one of our properties, one of our sites that we work on. our officers can have the red and blue lights and go back up that officer. We'd be all in connection with each other, helping each other out to make a safer community, a safer area to live. And it's safer for law enforcement to have that backup, that extra backup as well. You know, even if they only use us to block off roads while they're dealing with a hostage situation, or, you know, stop traffic when there's an accident, you know, that's allowing those resources for sheriffs and other police departments in the city to do other things that they need to do that are more dangerous, you know, whether it be armed robbery or someone robbing a bank, which happens quite often actually over here in St. Pete, Clearwater side. Carjacking, domestic violence, to where, you know, those issues went to where a spouse did something bad to the other spouse and killed them or killed themselves or whatever the case is. We could free up a lot of those little things by being special police and being sworn in, even though we're under a private agency. Which, like I said, guys, this happens up north all the time. There's companies out there all the time. They're private security companies with red and blue lights, and they assist the local police departments. They're all working together for one common good and one common goal. So why this whole situation happened, it blows my mind, like I said. But let me know what you guys think. Have you guys ever dealt with this with law enforcement where they're like, hey, we don't want you here, it's our preference or our policy or whatever the case is, or we don't like private security in general? You know, let me know what you guys have ran into out there, or what you guys think about this. What you think about maybe the optics of why TPD doesn't want us on parades? Is it because we're, you know, being filmed by news crews or whatever the case may be? You know, I'm just trying to figure this out, and it's really mind-blowing for sure. But, you know, I definitely am interested to see what you guys might think, what experiences you guys have been through with law enforcement. But like I said, guys, I'm not going to go quietly in the night and let any law enforcement agency, TPD, anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, I'm not going to let them stand in the way of us making money and doing more of a justice and a service to our communities that we live and work in every single day. We all make a difference, no matter how small it is. That small could make a bigger change down the road in the future. So that's it for this one, guys. Like I said, leave some comments down below. Interested to see what you guys have to say. Share this video to other guys that you might know in security, and see if they've ever been through something like this or had any run-ins with law enforcement. But until next time, guys, be safe, God bless, and have a good Christmas, and take care.